What would you do? You are starving. Your family is starving. Your tribe has not eaten real meat in days. Then the forest shakes. Branches snap. Birds explode into the sky. And in front of you stands the biggest meal on land. An elephant. A mountain of meat. Thousands of kilograms of flesh. Enough protein to feed everyone around your fire. Enough fat and muscle to keep children alive. Enough bones to build tools. Enough hide to make shelter. So the answer seems obvious. Kill it. Eat it. Survive. But here's the strange part. Modern humans almost never do. We eat cows. We eat pigs. We eat chickens. We eat goats. Some cultures eat horses. Some eat camels. Some even hunt whales. But the largest land animal alive, the animal carrying more meat than several cows combined, is almost never treated like food. Why? The easy answer is that elephants are too big. But that answer breaks quickly. Because ancient humans were not afraid of big animals. They hunted mammoths. They hunted mastodons. They hunted giant ground sloths. They stood in freezing winds with stone points and wooden spears. And they attacked animals that could crush them in one step. To an Ice Age hunter, a mammoth was not just an animal. It was a walking storehouse. Meat, fat, bone, tusk, hide, fuel, shelter. A dead mammoth could change the fate of a group. One kill could mean survival through a brutal winter. This was not fantasy. Across ancient landscapes, archaeologists have found mammoth bones with cut marks. They have found stone tools near giant carcasses. They have found huts built from mammoth bones. They have found evidence that humans did not just scavenge these giants. They processed them. They used them. They depended on them. So no, humans did not avoid elephant-sized animals because they were too large. For most of our deep history, huge animals were the ultimate prize. Then maybe the answer is taste. Maybe elephant meat is disgusting. Maybe it smells wrong. Maybe it is poisonous. Maybe humans tried it once and learned never again. But that answer also falls apart. People who have eaten elephant meat have often described it as tough, dense, lean, hard to cook quickly, but not impossible, not inedible. More like very tough beef, the kind of meat that needs time, fire, smoke, drying, boiling, patience. Ancient humans were experts at patience. They could dry meat, smoke meat, roast meat, bury meat, share meat, carry meat, turn survival into technique. So taste was not the wall. Size was not the wall. The real answer is deeper and darker. Because the problem was never just eating an elephant. The problem was what happened after the elephant fell. Imagine the kill. The tribe succeeds. The giant collapses. The ground trembles. Everyone cheers. For a moment, it looks like victory. Then the sun rises higher. The heat grows. Flies arrive. Blood pools. Predators smell it. Hyenas, lions, vultures, bacteria, rot. Now the victory becomes a race. A cow can be butchered by a small group. An elephant is different. It is not one meal. It is a mountain. A dangerous mountain. Thousands of kilograms of meat begin spoiling almost immediately. Without metal tools, without refrigeration, without trucks, without salt factories, without cold storage. A single hunting party cannot use it all fast enough. They can cut, they can carry, they can smoke, they can share. But much of it may still rot, and rotten meat is not just wasted food, it is death. One wrong bite can poison the weak. One infected cut can spread sickness. One carcass can attract predators back to the camp. So the false answer is this: elephants are too big to eat. The deeper reveal is this: elephants are too big to safely waste. For ancient humans, a giant kill had to be perfectly timed. Enough people, enough tools, enough cold weather, enough firewood, enough distance from predators, enough social cooperation. Otherwise, the miracle became a curse. But even that is only one layer. Because humans did not stop eating elephants only because meat spoils. They also stopped because elephants are terrible livestock. And this is where survival math becomes brutal. A chicken can produce eggs constantly. A pig grows fast. A goat breeds quickly. A cow can produce a calf about once a year. These animals fit the rhythm of farming. They replace themselves. They turn grass, scraps, and grain into predictable food. They can be penned, herded, bred, selected, counted, owned. Elephants do not work that way. A female elephant carries a calf for almost 2 years, nearly 22 months. Then she does not immediately produce another. She cares for that calf. She protects it. She teaches it. She may wait several more years before giving birth again. This is beautiful in nature, but terrible for meat farming. If you kill one elephant, replacing that one elephant takes years, not months, years, maybe a decade in practical terms. Now, imagine an ancient tribe trying to depend on elephant meat. At first, it works. One kill feeds everyone. Then another kill. Then another. But the herds do not return fast enough. The calves do not grow fast enough. The mothers do not breed fast enough. The land becomes quieter. The footprints vanish. The giant shadows disappear. The tribe has eaten tomorrow. This is the hidden survival trap. A fast-breeding animal can become food. A slow-breeding animal becomes a countdown. Eat too many cows and people can breed more cows. Eat too many chickens and more chickens hatch. Eat too many elephants and the herd collapses. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Ancient humans learned this lesson many times, sometimes by wisdom, sometimes by disaster. Across the world, many giant animals disappeared after humans spread into their lands. The exact causes are complex. Climate shifted, habitats changed. But human hunting pressure mattered, especially for animals that bred slowly. The bigger the animal, the slower the recovery, the sweeter the meat, the easier the extinction. So the elephant was not just a meal. It was a fragile bank account. A tribe could withdraw from it. But nature deposited very slowly. Farming. And farming changed everything. Humans no longer needed to gamble their lives on giant, dangerous animals. They could keep goats, sheep, cattle, pigs, chickens. They could breed animals that stayed near camp, animals that did not destroy fences, animals that did not need forests of food, animals that did not remember trauma for decades. And this matters, Because elephants are not simple beasts. They are strong, social, intelligent, emotional, hard to control. A cow can be forced into a pen. A chicken can be trapped in a coop. A pig can be contained. An elephant can tear through human plans like dry grass. It eats enormous amounts. It needs space. It needs water. It has family bonds. It has memory. It can rage. It can grieve. It can resist. For farmers, the elephant was not an easy meat animal. It was a living engine. And in many parts of Asia, that became its role. Not food, power. Elephants hauled timber, carried warriors, moved heavy loads, helped kingdoms build roads, temples, armies, fortunes. Once humans saw elephants as workers, eating them felt different. You do not eat the creature that helps you survive. You do not butcher the animal that carries your king. You do not roast the being that drags logs from the forest. The relationship changes. The elephant becomes labor, then status, then symbol, then almost family. This is how taboo begins. Not always from kindness, often from usefulness. A horse can be meat, but in cultures where horses carried people into war and work, eating them became uncomfortable. Dogs can be meat, but in cultures where dogs guarded homes and hunted beside humans, eating them became taboo. Elephants followed the same path in many places. And then, religion made the wall stronger. In South Asia, the elephant became connected to divinity, Ganesha, wisdom, beginnings, protection, good fortune, a sacred image with an elephant head. Once an animal enters the world of gods, the dinner plate becomes impossible. Now, killing it is not just wasteful, it feels like betrayal. It feels like an offense against meaning. But this still does not explain the modern world. Because modern humans eat many animals that ancient people respected. Modern industry is powerful. If humans wanted elephant meat badly enough, they could have built farms. They could have built cold storage. They could have built slaughter systems. They did not. Why? Because by the time modern industry arrived, elephants were already in trouble. And not because of meat, because of ivory. This is the darkest layer. For centuries, humans did not look at elephants and see food. They saw tusks, white gold, piano keys, billiard balls, jewelry, carvings, status, wealth, empire. The meat was huge, but the tusks were richer. So elephants were killed across Africa and Asia, not to feed villages, not to save starving children, but to decorate distant homes, to fill markets, to satisfy luxury. The body often mattered less than the teeth. Imagine the horror of that. A giant animal dies. Thousands of kilograms of meat lie in the sun. But the killers came for only a fraction of the body. The ivory leaves. The carcass rots. This is not ancient survival. This is extraction. This is greed wearing human skin. And elephants paid the price. Their populations crashed. Herds vanished. Old matriarchs died. Calves lost teachers. Migration routes were broken. Forests lost gardeners. Savannas lost giants. By the 20th century, the elephant was no longer seen as an endless resource. It became a warning, a symbol of what humans could erase. So laws changed. International trade in ivory was banned. Elephants became protected. Killing them for commercial purposes became illegal in most of the world. And once an animal becomes endangered, it cannot become dinner. Not normally, not legally, not at scale. You cannot build a meat industry around an animal you are trying to rescue. That is why the modern answer is not simple. We do not eat elephants because they are big. False. We once ate giants. We do not eat elephants because they taste terrible. False. People have eaten them. We do not eat elephants because humans are naturally too kind. Also false. Humans nearly wiped them out for ivory. The deeper answer is a stack. Elephants spoil too fast after a kill. They breed too slowly to recover. They are dangerous and expensive to manage. They became workers instead of livestock. They became sacred in some cultures. They were slaughtered for ivory until protection became urgent. And then science added one final uncomfortable layer. Elephants are not just large. They are aware. They live in families. They follow matriarchs. They communicate across distance. They remember water. They remember danger. They return to bones. They touch skulls. They linger near the dead. They show behaviors that look painfully close to grief. Some elephants can recognize themselves in mirrors. That does not mean they are human, but it means they are not just moving meat. They are minds. And that changes the feeling. A chicken is alive. A cow is alive. A pig is intelligent too. Humans are often inconsistent about this. But elephants make the contradiction harder to ignore. Because they look back. They remember. They mourn. They seem to understand loss. And when an animal appears to understand death, eating it feels different, even if we cannot explain why. There are still places where elephant meat is eaten, usually through illegal bushmeat markets, sometimes after poaching, sometimes as a secondary product after ivory is taken. In some countries, limited legal hunts happen under government control. The meat may be distributed to nearby communities. For those villages, one elephant can still mean real protein, real survival, a huge amount of food in one day. So the taboo is not universal. It is not ancient everywhere. It is not pure instinct. It depends on law, culture, hunger, history, money, and need. But globally, the direction is clear. The elephant is no longer treated as food. It is treated as a survivor, a giant remnant of a lost world. When you look at an elephant today, you are not just seeing an animal. You are seeing an echo of mammoth hunters, of ice age fires, of ancient hunger, of human ambition, of sacred stories, of colonial greed, of ivory markets, of broken herds, of conservation battles, of something we almost lost. That is why the question feels simple, but is not. Why do we never eat elephant meat? Because once, a giant animal meant survival. Then it meant labour. Then it meant wealth. Then it meant holiness. Then it meant guilt. Now it means responsibility. The elephant carries more than meat. It carries memory. Its own memory. And ours. It carries the memory of ancient humans who hunted giants to stay alive. It carries the memory of empires that killed for tusks. It carries the memory of forests where herds used to move like storms. It carries the memory of calves standing beside dead mothers. So maybe the real question is not why we do not eat elephants. Maybe the real question is this: how did humans look at the biggest meal on land and finally realise it was more than a meal? Because the meat was never the whole story. The ivory was. The extinction was.